Hey guys, bringing you my first video for Pocket Summoners. It's pretty similar to Summoner's War in terms of the monsters, but it's like before Necro and like all the monsters got buffed and debuffed and stuff. So I'm just gonna tell you some monsters that you should build when you first start, regardless of people telling you. There's a couple people that will tell you that only 4 stars and 5 stars are good. That's not true at all. It's the armor pieces that you put on them that makes your monsters good. So, the Chevalier, aka Konamiya. I'm gonna go through the awakened version of the monster so you can see what makes this monster so good. There's basically there's no wasted move on this monster. It stuns on the first skill. This one fills the allies' attack gauge completely, giving them a turn and increasing the damage, which is an attack buff for 1 turn, which is nice if they're an attacker. And third skill removes all of the debuffs and heals for 15%. It's really not the heal, even though the heal is nice, even though it's small, but quality, not quantity. But it clears all of them, so it also cleans. So even if there is a unrecoverable effect on them that disturbs the HP recovery, it will still heal because it'll cleanse before it does anything. And another one you should build in case you don't get that one first, or for some reason you're just totally biased, is Raphael, aka Lulu. It removes 1 debuff, but the heal is a little greater. It heals itself and removes a debuff on an ally and increases its own attack gauge, so it's pretty fast. I think that's it for water monsters. Oh, you get her first. She's absolutely garbage, but you can build her if you want. Zach, aka Seek. He hits hard. Even though he is squishy, he still hits hard. His first skill has a little life drain thing. Hits twice, which is basically this attack times 2. I think it actually has the same multiplier. And third, that increases the attack power and crit rate of all allies. Pretty useful for your nuke team. I think maxed out should still have a 3-turn cooldown. You're gonna get this guy first. You're gonna get the 4-star material as well as the awakening material for him. He's basically Rogue. It's literally the same thing. Gains an additional round after killing an enemy. When he's awakened, he gets his first skill where he has a 30% chance to basically proc and attack again. And this one brings a teammate with him to attack with him. But he won't have a chance to proc when you use that, so bear in mind. But also, when you use that second skill, he also reduces your teammate's cooldown, so it's also another way to do that. I think that's... I mean, there's a couple of attackers that you could build. Like, this is the Fire Fairy. You build her. She hits very hard. She has an AoE that just clears bitches out, so don't be afraid to build her. For wind monsters. Go to the awakened forms again. Nikita. This is Shannon. Glancing hit on the first turn. AoE slow on the second, and attack and defense buff. I mean, she's amazing, regardless of her being squishy as fuck. Macus, which is Remagos, or Remagod, or whatever the fuck you guys want to call him. First skill, reduces the attack gauge. People simply disregard him for some reason, but they don't know anything about his third. Some people are too lazy to awaken monsters, but he's worth it, even though he's only 2-star. He heals himself 30%, and also it's actually going to be a little bit more once you start to feed more Mac Assist to him. And his third skill, basically, if, let's say he has 20k HP total, and he's being pounded on, they're hitting him, and they bring him down to 1k. If he uses his third, he'll do 19k damage. And then if they die, if they mysteriously suck and are ruined terribly, they die, he revives. Well, not revives, but he could heal himself after he gets another turn. And he can farm basically everything. He could literally farm everything. That's the cool thing about him. Regardless of him having the element advantage or not, he can farm everything. Which is the reason why I always recommend people spam it in chat. Actually, today the Wind Dungeon is open today. Wind Trial Dungeon is open. And I basically spammed everybody to get this guy and awaken the crap out of him. Because people, like, honestly, you can't ruin him wrong. Like, all he fucking needs is HP. You can't ruin him incorrectly. There's just no way that you can ruin him wrong, so he's another good one. The Rainier. This is also known as the Wind Yeti. What, Rock? I don't even know his fucking name. I don't know how to say that shit, but he has a slow on the first skill, stun on the second, and a heal that is very dependent on the endurance of your team, pretty much. If everybody's alive at the end, he heals them for a really big amount. I'm not sure how big the amount is. I feel like it's like 50% or something like that. I tried to look at the bar, but it looks like it's around, like, I'd say 40, if I could just eyeball it. You can build Jarrett, which is Bernard. Sadly, he's not farmable on this game, but a lot of people pull him from scrolls. I don't see anybody having problems pulling him from scrolls, but people, for some reason, feed all of their 3-stars and 2-stars and don't even look at the skills. And it's one of the mistakes that I also made when I started off with Summer's War. I fed all my 2-stars and 3-stars because I thought that only the 4-stars and 5-stars were good, and I never got a natural 5-star, so that says something. But his first skill, it really doesn't do anything, but it does hit kind of hard. Not gonna lie, it hits pretty hard. This one attacks the enemy and decreases its attack and defense for 2 turns. And that's a 100% activation rate. So all you need to do is slap some accuracy on this bitch and it'll land every single time. Every time, I promise you. And this one increases the buffs their bar for 30% and gives them a nice little attack speed buff for 2 rounds. So he's very useful to have, especially for arena as well as dungeons, because all you're pretty much doing is slapping accuracy on him and it'll land on everybody regardless of the attribute as well. So, and he has this leader skill for the for your win team. So if you want to do like B5 or something, it's called strength trial, but it's on Summoner's War it's called giants. But do trial 5 and he'll be good for your team. Aries, aka Michelle. This one's Michelle. You get her for free. After playing for 3 days, you get her 4-star awakened as well. She's not bad to have at all, and to be honest, I totally overlooked her when I got her. Her first skill has a nice little life drain as well. It's proportionate to the HP. This skill recovers the gives it's a small heal. It's supposed to be like what, holy block or some shit like that, but it shortens the time of harmful effects by 1 turn and increases your buff by 1 turn. So if you think about it, if you have let's say a maxed out Nikita or a maxed out Zac, that's constant buffing because of her skill. Just having her on your team, and she revives an ally with a third for 25% of your HP and throws on a buff that increases their HP by 15% each time it goes, and it's not bad. 25% is a little iffy, but if you feed some more resistance into her, it'll be more, but she's good starting out. And this is the Wind Grim Reaper. He's not bad either. He hits very hard, like 4-star, and then look at his base attack. That's insane, number one. Because there aren't, it's pretty average, but still quite a bit. And he gets an additional turn, so. And he also has the buff just like Jarrett does for your one team, so he's definitely not bad to have. Hubbard. This is, was it Rashion? The Wind Golem. Stuns on the first skill. And 10% chance to taunt. He buffs his own defense as well as grants immunity to himself. And this one reduces the incoming damage for 50% and 20% chance to counterattack. And that takes that into effect still. The chance to stun or taunt. So he's just a really good tank to have overall. When you think about it, especially early game, just having a monster like this built decently, even with just some crappy 3-star runes, he's gonna be really hard to beat. Like, if you look at his force, look at him 4-star awakened, his defense is 380. That's already too much to deal with early game. And the amount of HP that he has as well is already just too much. So, considering that people, number one, don't know how to rune early game, 2, don't know how to rune certain monsters correctly early game, and definitely don't know how to rune for attack early game, he won't be as bad as you think he is. People, these golems have really bad have a really bad reputation. But I actually seen someone 6-star this one and slap on some really nice runes on it, and it sold a lot of shit for me when I was just randomly trying to see how good it was. Even though this is a different game, it's technically the same fucking monster, so he's really not that bad. Definitely built him. Another alternative to him is the Light Hubbard. A friend in my chat calls him King Hubba because he built him and he loves him to death, literally. He honestly hasn't even built anything other than Hubba. You get this monster for free. I'll go to the Awakened version of it. Wherever it is. Boom. You get this monster for free. He has a revive and then heals the entire team for 20%. Now, even though that's a 20% heal, I think he'd be really good in, number one, he'd be good in trials, aka dungeons, And with a like tanky team, I would guess, I think he'd be really good with a tanky team, because if you think about an attack team, attackers generally have a really low HP. So he's definitely better on a tank team. Like, I've seen a team of Ramagoses, and then he has the same first skills as the Water Traveler, but he has a leader skill that increases the HP for 70%, which isn't a lot, but early game, you're taking whatever the hell you can get, to be honest. Another monster that you can build that's farmable. I'm honestly not sure if she's farmable right now, but if you can get her, I know that they have a hero trial for her, so definitely get her. She has immunity. It's not invisibility, it's immunity, but whatever. Not immunity, invincibility, not invisibility. There's a debate on this Nikita. Even though the translation is bad, we all know that on Summoner's War, this is a very, very random revive. So if you have like a team of 5 allies and 3 of them die, one of them bitches are getting revived and you're not sure who. I'm not sure if that's the case on this one, but the number one thing that irks me on this version of the game is that cooldown time. Like, for real. Who else is farmable? Guy, aka Darian. His main thing is his passive reduces all of the damage by 15%. It doesn't stack, but doesn't matter. And another thing is that he has defense break on his first turn. Not his first turn, his first skill. And he does have a decent base HP, so he's also hitting very hard since these attacks are proportionate to his HP. Like, he hits pretty hard, not even kidding. Pair him up with a Water Traveler and it's like constant heals all day. Another, I'm looking for him. Did I say anything about Bella yet? I don't think I did. This is the Holy Valin. Recover 30% of the attack gauge and heals for 30%. Beware of her dumbass AI, number one. She uses her third for the bar buff, not for the heal. So if you're either going to have to wait for them to fix her AI or just manually use her if you really need her heal, if you're dependent on her heal to make it through a trial or a level. And this one removes all buffs on the target, slaps some accuracy on her, and she reduces defense for 2 rounds to 100% activation rate on both these skills. So just slap on accuracy on her. She's meant to be, she's meant to be Divine Phoenix, which is, Divine is, it grants you another turn with a 20% chance. Of Phoenix is 20% additional accuracy, so. But, mostly for that. And her heal's really nice. Any other monsters? A couple of 3-stars that you can pull. The Masaka. This is a shear. Yeah, he's just stupid nice. Don't even care. He's just really nice. But his first skill makes them unable to heal for 1 turn. Disturbs CHP recovery. Nice for a first skill, and it's 100% activation rate, so that's good for arena. Heals for 15% and also has a speed buff Also very nice for arena as well for your tank team. And his third hits 4 times in proportionate to his HP. And you see he has a nice little bit of HP over there. 50% chance to remove 1 debuff. I'm pretty sure that's for each turn. And if they die, the cooldown for this skill resets. Now, unlike the water Masaka, wherever the fuck he is, there he is. Unlike the water Masaka, number one, water Masaka has like 600 less HP than the light version, but that's okay. We can deal with that. What's up, Daz? But water Masaka hits 3 times and has a chance to break defense. So he'll do more damage with this skill. But the Holy Masaka removes like a buff. Even if he doesn't kill them, he removes the buff regardless. And if he does kill them, it resets his third skill. So if you can get his third skill to do a lot of damage, it wouldn't really matter if he could break defense or not. But they both have the same first and second skills. So, but the important thing is kind of that heal and that speed buff, which is really nice. Really nice to have. Another monster that you can pull. Just talking about 3 stars right now because it's not certain if you're gonna pull a good 4-star or a 4-star that's worth having. But trust me, there's a lot of food 4-stars, like a lot of them. But this is Water Aries, and she's just really annoying early game. Late game, I mean, there's a lot of ways to beat her end game, so she's really not too end game. But early game, once again, that same first skill, proportion to her HP. Second skill, heals. It's not this is a different one than the Wind Aries. It heals 2 teammates with the lowest HP. So if one has, 2 enemies are hurt, the one that has the lowest one will get 24%, and the second lowest will get the 15%, as it says respectively. And this is a passive. It's a shield. Every time she gets hit with a critical hit, she puts this annoying ass shield on. That's 20% of her max HP. So if she has a crap ton of HP, that shield is not going anywhere. And if they crit and crit and crit, it's just not going anywhere. So, and plus she can also solo teams because her first skill hits actually surprisingly hard regardless of the attribute, and it's a life drain as well. And then she's got this heal that just goes off, and she'll recovers 25% of her HP if you just so happen to get her HP down. So she's just really annoying, and you probably have to rage quit if you see one that's well built. My only counter for her anyways would be Illusion, which is actually the Wind Belzy, the Wind one, for this version of the game. This is the English version of the game, but not that one. Even though you could build her too if you get her. Floor. This is also known as Megan. Attack an enemy, 50% chance to put a dot on for 1 turn. This one attacks an enemy, removes buff, and also has a chance to make them unable to receive beneficial effects for 1 turn. It's not that long, but it's good. And the cooldown time isn't that bad, especially once you start leveling it up. It's pretty decent. And this one recharges your entire team's attack bar by 20%, and increases the defense and attack for 2 turns. So it's kind of like tossing Bernard and Shannon, or Jarrett and Nikita, together, basically. Like, this is their offspring. And her leader skill increases the team's attack damage for 21% in arena, though. Only in arena. But it's very nice to have. I think that's it though. I prefer water. I think there's one more monster that I would suggest. And slightly underrated would be the fire floor. Um, she has the same first skill, second skill. This is a attack enemy with 50% chance to reduce defense for two rounds if they have buffs. Reduce defense for 2 rounds. What the fuck? If target have buffs. What the fuck? They tried. They really tried. Okay, anyways, it's her third skill. She removes all debuffs from the team, and she heals them for 10%, regardless. And the heal amount increases according to the amount of debuffs removed. And it should be 2% additional for each debuff. So if she's in like, I forgot what I think it's called like endurance trial or something like that. I can't remember what it's called for the dragon portion of the game. But, you know, in dragons, there's a lot of dots and all this crap. She will remove all of that. And for each dot that you have on you, she'll heal an additional 2%. So she's not bad, but if you have like a team that's has decent runes but really low resistance, she'll help you out in that aspect. Another monster that's totally that I find worth building is, if I can find her, Fire Morgan, aka Colleen. She her first skill reduces the attack power for 1 round. It's supposed to be 2, but it says 1. The second one makes him unable to recover HP for 2 rounds. There it is again. Good for arena, and she also hits kind of hard. Not gonna lie, some of these support monsters come out the wazoo with the amount, of damage that they deal, regardless of what they are supposed to be, which is support. And your third heals the entire team for 20% of their HP and increases the attack power for 2 rounds. So she's like perfect for an attack team. And that's pretty much all I bring her with anyways, but sometimes I need her just for the heal. And she has quite a bit of heal too. She's a little fast, but she's really good to bring in arena mostly, especially on your offensive end when you're attacking. She's not that bad to bring with you. Another 3-star that you can definitely build is the Fire Angel. This is Tagaros. Attack the enemy, increases his gauge by 30%. So even though his base speed is low, if you get enough crit on him, he'll speed himself right up. But that's only his first skill though. Second skill, attacks on enemies, defense break for 2 rounds. Yeah, if you max him out, it's not that bad. And the third skill, the monster that you click on has a chance to get stunned, and all the other enemies get dot for 3 rounds. Even though it's just his third, and it's only dot for 3 rounds once. Never underestimate the power of dots. Never. And dots deals 5% of the max HP. So if you have some really, really bad ruined attack monsters, or you're just going with a tank team, having a monster that can deal dots is lovely. Especially if they're on Divine. This is the Divine set that's formerly known as. But and this is the Wind Belzy, which is Lucian, basically. You can totally tell it's Lucian. Ignore defense, AoE. But starting off, ignore, try to refrain from asking people what monsters are good, because, to be honest, most people don't know what monsters are good, because if you knew what monsters are good, or if they knew, they would tell you just to fucking build them, because every monster on this game has a use except for liches, okay? But every monster on this game has a use, but you just have to build them. Legitimately, just build them. If they're an attack monster, build them as an attack monster. If they're a support monster, build them as a support monster. If you don't know how to build a monster, there's this lovely button that you can press, okay? There's a lovely button that you can press. Recommended armor. And you can find out how to build a monster. And if you don't want to use any of those builds, you can go here. And there's nothing here. But if all else fails, just try to make sure that asking in the chat is the last thing that you do, because they're gonna fuck you up. Some people will really fuck you up and give you a really bad rune set. Like, I've seen some people ruin their monsters so badly and legitimately try to give advice to people, and it just makes me want to cry. Like it just makes me want to cry. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some monsters that really have no business being built at all, but that's for you to find out. It's not for someone to tell you. It's because this game it's a learning curve. You have to figure out how to build monsters. Like I said, attack monsters are typically going to be runed. They're going to be runed tiger, dragon, most of the time. And then sometimes an attacker, such as this monster, or hero, or whatever, is going to have a very low amount of HP. And sometimes you may have to, even though his set is broken right now, I don't know what happened to his other dragon, but sometimes you're going to have to ruin them with some HP, or even waste a slot with HP on it. And I actually do have a rune that has HP on it, but I don't want to put it over. But you might end up having to do that. Support monsters like this, sometimes they do need a little attack in their lives. Sometimes. It depends. It really does. Just know that most attack monsters are runed dragon, tiger, dragon, eternal, sometimes tempest, tiger, overlord, tiger. It depends. You have to try it out for yourself and see which one works for you, because there are advantages and disadvantages, but just know that the armor pieces that you have are what makes your monster good. Because you can rune Belzy, Overlord, Tiger all day, but if his crit rate is low as shit, it's not going to matter. You're better off ruining him Dragon, Tiger, or something of the sort, because he'll do more damage that way, because you know those are the best runes that you have. Your standard support build would be Tempest, Phoenix, which is speed and accuracy, because most of the time they have debuffs that land and they need to go first sometimes. Sometimes they need to go repeatedly, so you might have to replace the Tempest set with a Divine set. Sometimes they need to stun a lot, so you might put the Killing set on them. It depends on what monster. Like, just look at their first skill and see if you're better off having that one procced a lot, or if they have a couple of AoEs or something, and maybe you want them to stun, or if they need to go first. Like, not only does he have a skill that's dependent on his attack speed, he actually needs to go first because of his third skill. So you need to take that into consideration. Actually read their skills. And some monsters need to be awakened in order to get leader skills or third skills. Some don't need to be awakened, even though this one does. What the fuck? But some monsters really need to be awakened. some don't. Some you can just hold off on the whole awakening process. But that's it for this video. Over and out.